Hey, my name is Matthew Jacobs. I made a Minecraft machinima once called The Story of Paco. Let me tell you about it. Now before you click away because this is about a video made in Minecraft, this is a video about filmmaking and it just so happens that I used Minecraft as a medium for telling this story. We good? Okay, let's move on. It's hard to say when production started on The Story of Paco. This is gonna get a bit complicated, but just bear with me. See, I made 2 previous videos with stories that would eventually rope into Paco's. Even after I made the 44-minute long behemoth that tied in those 2 stories, I kept coming up with more and more ideas for more new aspects on Paco's story. Eventually there were 8 videos telling this tale. I found that even that wasn't enough, so eventually I tied in all 8 videos, added 18 new sections, and an overarching plot that connected all of them, and what started with 3 videos that added up to just about under an hour grew to a 2.5 hour monstrosity, giving it the unofficial world record of the longest Minecraft machinima ever made. Or at least, as of this recording, and as far as I know. I spent probably well over 100 hours working on it, and 25 people had helped me with the production by the end. So, what is the story of Paco? Well, let me tell you. The story of Paco is about a young and lonely boy named, well, as you could have guessed, Paco. He runs away from his lonely life in search of friends, and what follows is the tale of his adventures and how they affect him and those around him. Sounds pretty pretentious, right? I'm going to use the 44-minute incomplete version of the story of Paco as the starting point of production because that is when I got the intention to string all these stories together. Anyway, so you're damn right it was pretentious. I was 13 when I started writing it, and I had just gotten done watching what I think were a couple of thought-provoking shows, and I thought I was some kind of wise, all-knowing hot shit. Spoiler alert, I wasn't. In fact, a lot of elements from the story of Paco, including characters, Minecraft skins, music, dialogue, and events, are just straight up ripped from these shows. Well, the music was just in part that we couldn't make our own, so we just borrowed it, but anyway. In fact, when I came back to complete what I had started when writing the full 2-hour monstrosity, I realized that a lot of dialogue was not only just straight up ripped from these shows, but it sounded like I was trying to be thought-provoking and that just came up sounding really lame. But to me, that's what the story of Paco was, or at least that's what it sounded like when I came back to write more of the story, so I tried to keep it like that. In hindsight, I probably shouldn't have. I wish I had went about it a different way. And that was just one of the problems that I ran into during production. The original story of Paco was recorded in 2013, but wasn't uploaded until 2014. It was now 2017 when I was writing that 2-hour monstrosity, and there have been a lot of changes. Just about half the original cast and I had a complete falling out. If you guys watch my older videos, you may remember John. He was my best friend and closest collaborator. In those 4 years between the 2 videos, we had a huge falling out. During production of the original story of Paco, he was a co-writer, co-director, voice actor. He helped me move the characters around on screen. He was a set designer. He would tell me if a certain shot looked good or not or needed to be redone. Needless to say, he was a very valuable member of production to the original aspects of the movie. We don't talk anymore, meaning that I had to do all of this by myself. As mentioned previously, a lot of the cast members and I had falling outs in those in-between years for one reason or another. Nothing special, that's just how high school goes, so I had to completely replace a lot of the original cast. Scheduling the voice recordings wasn't hard because a lot of people could usually find an hour or so to hop on Skype and record with me, but moving the characters? Totally different story. I did indeed have help with some of the scenes, but because of everyone's responsibilities, I found it easier just to use 2 separate laptops with 3 borrowed Minecraft accounts, and one of which I borrowed myself. Yeah, it wasn't fun. I wish I had a picture to show you, but I honestly don't know if I ever took one, and I don't feel like setting it up again because it was a lot of work, but basically, one computer was on my desk, one was on my lap, and it was just a nightmare. However, I'm not here to tell you all the secrets from behind the scenes of the story of Paco. Even though, with how this video is going, that might be what you're thinking, I'm here to tell you something entirely different. I can't watch the story of Paco anymore. I don't see a touching story about a young boy's adventures. I see nothing but its flaws. I don't see deep, thought-provoking dialogue. I see pretentious garbage written by a 13-year-old version of myself who thought he knew what he was doing and thought he was making something great, and not to mention how a few lines were just ripped from different shows. When Paco is proposing to his girlfriend near the bridge, I see a set that was made in about 5 minutes and how I could have done something better. When I hear Katie speak her lines, I hear the voice actress exhausted and fed up with me for asking her to repeat the same line over and over and over again to get it just right. In fact, I see how everyone was fed up with me. Also, since there weren't a lot of female characters in the story of Paco, I'd usually ask whoever I was dating at the time to help me out with some of the voices. When we broke up, I would ask the next girl to help me. I don't see their characters, I see all the fights we had, the bad breakups, and the heartache we had during and after those relationships. I see all the things that are edited and green screened in, and all the shots I did using my 2-computer setup. I see old friends, and even though it might be better that we aren't friends, I still miss the times we had. I see the respect I lost for my cousin, who we had to ask to stop working on the video because he kept messing around on set. For one of the songs, Never Gonna Dig Straight Up, I see me pestering the singer too much about getting the song done, and I see the comments calling it cancer and trash. I don't care about hate comments, but I see that most people don't like it. All of the undoubtedly hundreds of hours I put into this production, I see the 47 views that 2-hour monstrosity got. That's not a lot. In the sections I made when I returned to wrap up the story, I see rushed scenes, a rushed overarching plot, and a rushed effort to put this story to bed once and for all. During the wrap-up, I see me reluctant to start production knowing how long it's going to take to write, film, and slave over that editing software again for probably well over 100 hours. I see a lot of things wrong, but most importantly, I see a kid who, even though there was a story he wanted to tell, also made this movie because he wanted to prove to himself and others that he could. During the return, I see a slightly older kid who's trying to pick up the pieces of the things that his younger self overlooked, patch mistakes, and ultimately kind of failing at it. Ask any of my friends and family. I am my own harshest critic. Don't get me wrong, I'm insanely proud of the story of Paco, but I think I'm more proud that I completed it than I am proud of how good it actually was. I'm proud of what I was able to accomplish at the time, but I could have done so much more. These are the problems I have with filmmaking. But for some reason, I love it, and I can't wait to take these lessons and put them into my next production, whatever that will be. No one is making anything unique anymore. It's really sad to see.